Hi, how are you? It's Kate French here. I'm coming to you from the practice today, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about sensory toys and fidgets today. I mentioned last Friday that I was going to share a new resource that I had gotten, and I was just sort of thinking that just to do a bit of a session about it and about the role of sensory toys, fidget toys and things like that in like a therapy kind of perspective, in terms of how I use them in sessions, but also how they can relate and be useful in out of in the home and in schools and things like that. So this is different to what occupational therapists do in terms of like a sensory diet when they do assessments and plan one. So this is more just thinking about what are some of your kids' sensory interests, and having a different range of things available in session that might be kind of a match for your child or for you. So one of the new things that I got for the practice that has shown up as kind of the next rage, I suppose, in terms of fidget toys is this one here called I think it's called the push pop or something like that. So I've got the camera around the different ways so I can show you later on. So this one here, it's just plastic, rubbery plastic, and you push both sides and it gives a bit of a satisfying pop. Some people have said, it's sort of a bit like the bubble wrap kind of press, but it's actually a different kind of sensation. It's not actually that pinching kind of sensation, so it's quite different. But a satisfying little pop sound when you push them, and yeah, I've seen kids and adults have lots of fun pushing these in, whether it's in single fingers or going with two fingers or things like that. So that has certainly taken off in terms of popularity, and we see this happen with lots of different kind of toys and collectibles and things like that. So when fidget spinners came in a few years ago, people using them as sort of sensory toys and calming fidgets, and then they were like everywhere. They were in all schools, and every kid had them. And then I think they got banned. And that sometimes happens with the sensory toys or the fidget toys, is they catch on and they go, wild. And then schools kind of go, that's too many in the classroom, or no, they're not bringing them to school, and that kind of thing. So I think that's when they're not being used, I suppose, in a therapeutic kind of way. But they're still super enjoyable. So, in terms of how these get used in my sessions and in my practice, it's more a case of I have things available. And one of the things that I think is really important when I have kids coming in here is to recognize that anxiety is going to be high, for one. And so I want to make this space be a calming space, or give them the options that if they are seeking to regulate themselves in some way, I'm giving them some options to do that. And so showing them what I have available, telling them that they can grab something off my shelf or out of a basket to explore is really, really important in terms of the message that I want to be sending, that they are not expected to be sitting still. They are expected to be responding to the needs of their body. Yes, there's still boundaries in terms of how they can behave, and safety wise, but in terms of using resources and things and suggesting things, demonstrating things is a part of my philosophy in terms of when kids come in here. So having a bit of a different range of things is really good, and it's really nice to be able to do that again after not doing as much face-to-face last year, and having much bigger concerns, I suppose, about COVID and things like that. So certainly there's still the cleaning of the tools in between sessions and things like that in terms of hygiene. However, it's a bit easier to sort of feel relaxed about being able to offer fidgets and things that kids are touching with their hands. So that's one of the ones, the push pop, I think it's called, I don't know really, I think that's what it's called. And I was laughing because on the box, I think it had it suitable for ages, I think it was 3 to 6. And I kind of went, oh, well, I think it's a bit broader than that, because kids in primary school, high school, and adults quite enjoy this one, and it comes in a range of shapes and sizes and things like that as well. So they're around. Other kinds of ones that you will have seen and kids may use from time to time, and they sort of respond really nicely to just the squishies, that's sort of the slow release foam. And this one's in like little animal ones. These were little Kmart ones I think I got either last year or the year before. These ones I showed, I think, on my Instagram stories. I think some new ones that I found at Once Upon a Time toy store, and they've got lots of other cool range of things as well. Sorry, trying to find the camera there. And I'll probably be going back and having a look and seeing what else they've got there. And then there's just, you know, your standard ball kind of thing, which is, you know, that hand squeeze. So again, you know, in terms of the usefulness in it becoming like a therapeutic way, is, you know, talking about having a focus for kids to be noticing strength in their hands and releasing that as a mindfulness practice. It's certainly a way we talk about energy in the body, in terms of noticing energy in the body, noticing what happens to the hands when we get anxious or angry. So having a tactile kind of toy like that really enhances conversations and things. It takes the focus away from just focusing on emotions and what we might be talking about. And it also helps to demonstrate you know, some ways of releasing energy too. So sometimes we talk about the power of throwing very soft toys at a wall or at our bed or something to release that explosion of energy as a regulation tool as well. So fidgets and toys have, again, a calming experience for them in session, but it also opens the door to talking about what they use already at home, what do they already have at home, what's something else they might want to try. So I really love to see kids' eyes light up when they come here and they see something. They're like, oh, I want to try that, you know, and just that enthusiasm that they might take an idea from the therapy space back into their school or back into their home. Another thing that gets used well is when kids begin to understand their sensory needs more, and they purposely decide with their family or with their school support that they're going to have like a box of therapy toys or a calming box, that they're going to put their favorite sensory toys or fidgets in, and they're going to deliberately use them as a regulating tool. So that is really great when you see that progression happening from just sort of saying, I've got this little thing that I play with, to deliberately taking the steps to sort of put that into action, to use that and notice what happens to themselves when they're doing that, noticing whether it's calming, whether it's not working anymore, whether they need to change it up. Another kind of fidget or sensory toy is, I love showing kids these ones here, which is those glitter balls or calming jars, it might be, whatever it might be. Again, this is like a visual stim, I suppose, or, you know, something really visually arresting and interesting to focus on. And with the soft fall of the glitter in this one, we get to talk about breath, we get to talk about how long we hold our visual attention for, what we're noticing in that moment, whether it's taking attention to noticing the bits of glitter, noticing the image become clearer as the glitter settles, or whether it's just using that as like a timer and noticing how many breaths it takes for that to fall, or whatever it might be. It's got lots of flexibility in terms of how they can be used, and it makes that discussion again of talking about how kids regulate through their senses, and in terms of understanding those emotions, a fun and tangible kind of way, fun way to practice it. So then if you have explored different things, whether in session or they bring some things from home that they're already using, then it makes it easier to go and start to, whether it's formalize or whether it's have reminders in place, like this one here that I've made, which is called I Think I Need a Sensory Break. And when it comes down to picking the activities, you've already, here it is over here, you've already got some room for options. So if you've explored a number of different things in session, at home, when we go, what could we do? What tools have you got? Or what could we do? It's much faster for them to be able to come out and complete something like this. Or if schools are asking for feedback about what helps, then we already know that information. We can sort of put that into their plan to help them, and they feel really empowered having that kind of come up with that information themselves and things like that. So that's a really an important kind of link from what might look like kids playing and just exploring things in a sensory kind of way. It's an important step, an important part of teaching them emotion regulation skills, and it's lots of fun. The other kind of way it could be used, this form here that it's been created by Autism Level Up, they've got it as a noticing the emotion, and then they talk about it as powering up the emotion, so increasing the energy or changing the emotion to a more lively one, or powering it down. And they've got a couple of little examples there, as you can see, about what kinds of things it might be. But they've also developed one where it's blank. And so you could put all your own sensory toys in, or your own activities that you could kind of come up with. But again, to start with something like that would be really hard if you don't do that exploration stage. So certainly be thinking, and these are just some of the ways, this is more tactile and a bit of visual that I showed. Obviously, there is lots of other senses that we have. There's lots of movement, ways to address the movement one. And I did recently get a cool yoga game. For people that know me, I love doing yoga in my spare time, and certainly, doing some yoga moves and using yoga to focus on the body, focus on the breath, focus on feeling strong, powerful, confident. All those things is really cool. So, got a yoga spinner game which we'll try out as well for kids who might be interested in doing that. This one here, again, a lot of people have these sequin cushions have been super popular, super calming to have on the lap or have nearby in the session, but also really easy. Lots of kids report they've got them in the bedrooms. They're pretty easy to have, in a school couch kind of setting, and in terms of directing kids to use those kinds of tools when they recognize some of those heightened emotions, or if they're getting lots of energy and they need to kind of calm it down. That can be very, very calming. Drawing patterns, writing their names, whatever it might be, just even noticing the sensation of the sequins going back and forth on your hand. So there's lots of very easy to purchase ways of exploring sensory toys and fidgets that can really open up and explore your kids' ability to learn some of those motion regulation skills. As I was saying before, there's other senses as well. Smell is something that we don't explore so much. I'll have a candle here that I normally don't put on. Some people are very sensitive to smell, so I'm usually very mindful in my practice that we keep the smells as neutral as possible, because people's sense of smell can be very, very sensitive, and it's hard to clear it out kind of quickly. But I know kids, you do use the scents and the oils. They wear them in jewelry, all kinds of things as well that you can explore as well with kids. Sometimes we do some activities in our school holiday programs where we do add a few different scents to different things, and we encourage them to kind of explore ones they like and what they don't like, but they just do it in very small doses. So touch as well, we've done touch with the hand. There's movement. Taste is not something that we do so much. Sometimes we do use ice though as a regulating kind of activity, and a really fun one. So the crunching gives them that kind of up and down and resistance to their mouth, and it's a really nice thing for them to do as well. Sucking on ice or crunching on ice can be really calming for some kids. So in some of our holiday programs, we might have a tray of ice if we think that would be useful, and let them have a go, and often it's really well received. So that's something, again, that you will notice just with having your kids at home, that they might go to the ice tray cubes and munch on them just for fun, or have other kind of frozen veggies and things they might like to put in their mouths. So yeah, be thinking about how you can utilize what kids are already interested in terms of encouraging them to explore some of those sensory tools and regulations. So yeah, that's all I was going to chat about today. I hope that's been useful, and started you thinking about what you've already got at home, or how you can maybe formalize that to encourage them to recognize what it feels like when they're using some of those sensory toys, so that feedback loop begins to get stronger, which is deliberately doing something to cause a change within their own state or their own body, and noticing what that's like, and whether they want to do that or do something else. So anyway, I hope that has been useful, and thank you for being watching live, and I will catch you next Friday. Talk to you soon. Bye.